welcome back to my channel. It's justreaddvi and I am back with another video. Today's video is going to be Cicely Tyson's Just As I Am. Oh my gosh, you guys, wow. This book, I hope you can see it because the light, I don't know what's been going on lately, but it takes it out. Okay, it doesn't show. This book, let's just start with the cover. Beautiful. I listened to this book on Audible, and this book was whoa. Not wow, just whoa. She put everything in this book. I'm not gonna do any spoilers. That's just an alert. My PSA though about this book is it should have been called A Journey Through Time, because instead of Just As I Am, because this book was a journey through not just her life but in time, like from her grandparents in Nevis, her parents' life, her life, and the people all around her. Just amazing. Like some tea too, some business was told all up and through this book. So it was very entertaining. It was just everything because everything was in this book. Done. That's it. Let's talk about Cicely Tyson. She rest in peace. She just passed the beginning of this year, which I'm going to share something with you that just shocked me. That was like, wow, especially in reading the book, or listening to the book, reading the book. So Cicely Tyson was born from parents that were natives to Nevis, and they moved to New York. From even all of that was all such a good story in there. Everything that needed to be said was said and then some. Very entertaining. You really, after this book, if you have any questions or want to know Cicely Tyson, reading this book pretty much put you close. You know, she shared so much. She was so candid with a lot of stuff, and I'm sure there's more she probably could have said, but she said a lot. So my summary, from her being born with a heart murmur to her being a teenage mom, you know, having a daughter at 17, to getting married at 18, to the marriage ending soon after, like probably 2 years later, to her modeling career, to her hustling to provide for her daughter, and then to her entering into acting. Which was funny because she didn't even see herself doing that. So that was really funny too. Her mom didn't really agree with her her mom didn't agree with her doing it, with her acting. You know, she thought it was a devil's business. She grew up in a Christian household, so her mom was pretty much by the Bible and by God, and she just didn't, agree with that and what it stood for. Not knowing really, but nonetheless didn't agree. She spoke about her big roles that she encountered, or roles that she just loved and held very dearly. The autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, Sounder, Roots, the Rosa Parks story, Coretta Scott King, the role that she played in Martin Luther King when she played Coretta Scott King. She covered that. And a lot more. What was touching to me was her work ethic. She worked so hard and was just such a pusher and grinder in everything that she was doing, and it was beautiful. She definitely exemplified Black excellence. And what I loved about her also is she wanted to keep pushing through with the Martin Luther King, the way he lived, his beliefs. She wanted to keep encouraging and to educate, Caucasian people or white people about Black people and just us in general, and I thought that was so beautiful because she got mad at times with certain things that were said and ways people acted, but she wanted you to know so that you could be better. She just looked at it as, well, maybe they don't know. Maybe I should tell them. And be that kind person talking to them versus yelling at them. So that was really cool. She definitely picked the torch up and continued, for sure. She discussed the struggle with raising her daughter and her daughter not feeling like she was present and there enough. I appreciated that. That was really a raw thing to talk about because most people won't own that, you know, having a Hollywood career or being a single parent and hustling so much that your child kind of falls to the wayside or feels that you should be there more and doing more for them or just having them around. You know, when your kids are young, they want you. They want you, you know. So her daughter wanted more time and the time just wasn't there as much as the daughter wanted it, her daughter Joan. So that was pretty, that was good too. The only intimate, she spoke about her different relationships also. Her marriage was very brief, so she didn't really touch on that too much because it was so short. But her toxic relationship with Miles Davis definitely stood out to me. That was just horrible. That whole thing. I mean, from the beginning, because he was still married, to the end when he had herpes and, you know, something else. Read the book. And, you know, was still hoping for her to just be there, which I think he just wanted her around as a friend. You know, he was like, we could be together, but we don't have to have, you know, sexual intercourse or a sexual relationship. And it's like, that's what you do when you're married. So they went through a lot. That was to the end though, but between it was a lot. From her punching somebody out to him, you know, punching somebody, knocking somebody down really, because she was the other woman. You know, he had just numerous mistresses. She was just candid in talking about the scratch marks on his stomach and his groin because he was just so he was out there with everybody, it seemed like. And it's crazy because they were older at this point when she was saying all of this. So it was a lot. Definitely, this book, I would say, if you want to know anything, like, I learned so much about just other people also through reading this book. With him coming from, you know, a rough upbringing. It was sad that he was, you know, molested, and his first intercourse was with somebody that was, sexual intercourse experience was with an adult, a grown woman, and he was still a little boy. So that was sad, and then just him doubting himself and not really knowing and appreciating who he was, you know, down to the drugs and everything. I love jazz, as I've stated in previous videos. And I know Miles Davis, he's not my favorite, but I appreciate his music. I'm more of a sax girl and he's a trumpet. So I appreciate more John Coltrane and, you know, of that sort of jazz. But I appreciate his music and what he did. So learning so much about him in this book was just sad. You know, there were positive things, but, you know, it was a lot of rough parts. So yeah, she shared a lot of that, which was like, hats off to you, because that was a lot to share, especially with, you know, the affair that they had with him still being married, to him then being to him getting divorced, to her then being then he married again, and then they got back together, and then years later they get married. And it was just like, wow, you know, that was a lot to deal with, her basically lifting him up and helping him survive through his organs shutting down because of all the drinking and the drugs he was doing. So that was touching that she, you know, helped him through that, but also like, wow, that's a lot to deal with. She also shared such big highlights as the Presidential Medal of Freedom was presented to her by Barack Obama. She really appreciated that, and then the fact that he called her beautiful. You know, she said, he said so much stuff, but that was the one thing I really remembered. That was so precious, you know, to live such a long life. To live such a long life was like, wow, that's a blessing. You know, to be around, to experience so much different things and have an input and meet so much different people. And yeah, she experienced and did a lot. Yeah, her age, let's talk about her age. The fact that she had people for years thinking she was 10 years younger than what she was is just phenomenal. She played so much different roles, different age ranges. Amazing. That just speaks to the testament of Black excellence. Like, I was just in awe of her through reading the book and all the things she was doing. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. You know, and yeah, I'm going to get into her diet and all of that in a minute. But wow, it was just amazing. Amazing. I still shocked with that. And then the craziest part for me was the fact that in the book, so she mentions like having a third eye or having visions and seeing different things that about to happen. And apparently in the Caribbean, like from her upbringing, her parents would always say, like, if you see somebody, like dream or envision somebody wearing like white, or white means a funeral or death. So she said that she already had a vision about herself, and she knew that the end was near for her. You know, she sees something with white, so she knew that the end was near for her. And then I looked it up, the release of this book. The book was released 2 days. She died 2 days after the book was released. I was like, wow. After you literally said that in the book, and then you died 2 days. The book was released, and then 2 days later you died. It's like, wow. That shocked me, you know, into silence almost. Like, what? Oh my gosh. So that's pretty much it. She died at 96 years old. Rest in peace, Cicely Tyson. You were truly amazing. This book got so much emotions from me. I laughed. At some points I was like, oh my gosh, what? And then I cried at a certain point also. So this book was really, really good. My likes and dislikes. I loved her drive and her passion, and just the fact that she cared so much about how excellent Black people were and being an exemplifier of that. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Dislikes, none. Well, I guess that's fair, but that really wouldn't be a dislike. But favorite / least favorite part. My favorite part was her diet. She would drink 4 cups of water when she woke up. She would eat either egg whites, well, usually oatmeal. She'd have her cup of celery juice. She was pretty much on a vegan diet. And then for dinner, she'd do a big bowl of veggies or salad with maybe a little lentils on top. She had her pull-up bar by her room. She worked out. She went for walks every day. She is what we need to be like. 96 years old and you doing all this stuff. You eating so clean. I'm a vegan, so that warmed my heart. When I see that, I felt so good because I'm a vegan. We've been meatless, my husband and I, for probably 2.5 years, going on 3 years now, I think. Yeah, so 2 years. So that's so exciting because you meet somebody, I feel like I met her. But you read about somebody living such a long life and how disciplined they were with how they eat, and very conscious about even going to the doctor and taking painkillers or anything. And you're like, wow, she do this. You know, she did this. And look at how long she lived and how good her body was for her, because she kept moving and did what she needed to do for her body. So that was my favorite part. Yeah, my least favorite now would be the affair with Miles Davis and the toxic relationship they had / marriage, because they later got married later in life and he still cheated and continued and she was still there. It was, yeah, a lot. This book, you guys, the link will be in the description. Read this book. For anything else, just for support for Cicely Tyson, because she just was phenomenal, you know, in her own right. But everything was in this book. There's so much that I'm not saying because I want you guys to go and read it. Stuff that I was like, oh my gosh, that happened, you know. So phenomenal. Check it out. Can everyone read this book? Absolutely. I listened to this book and it was just so something. There's something special about listening to an author read their autobiography. There's just something so special. I've listened to Jennifer Lewis, Tiffany Haddish, Gabrielle Union, Charlemagne. I've listened to quite a few and it's just so beautiful because usually they read it themselves and they do, you see it brings something different because you're hearing their voice talk about their stories. Sometimes the laugh that they laugh because the stories were so funny or silly, you know, ridiculous at times. And then sometimes you hear the pain off of what really hurt them that they went through. So this was phenomenal and Audible. I would highly recommend you listening to it. If you want to read it, you could go ahead and read it, but it was great. Great. Would I recommend? Obviously, based on what I just said, I highly recommend this book. Definitely support. It was just amazing. I learned so much, not just about her, but everybody around her. before her, after her, just amazing. I felt so connected. Just Read Stars. I give this book 5 out of 5 stars. This book was just so good. Yeah, nothing else to say. The book said it all, so definitely check it out. She also had a quote in this book that touched me, and I really liked it, so I'm going to share it with you guys. It goes, so much of great acting is about paying attention to the passing world. That touched me so much because as a great actress, she was phenomenal. As a great actress or actor, you need to know and be in the know of what's happening around you in the world at that moment. That's usually what the movies usually are about. And paying attention to what happened. And she made changes with her hair, her teeth, for roles because she just had to nail it. She was so dedicated to nailing and being who her character was, and that just in itself is why she was phenomenal. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to hit the like button, comment if you read this book, you want to read this book, you have questions about this book, thoughts about this book, comment below, let me know what you think, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. It's Just Read VI, and thank you for watching. See you guys in the next video. Toodles!